that we've talked about Jimmy G a lot, but it occurred to me that part of the reason that he's still on the team, I don't think we know why he's still on the team, but part of the reason he's still on the team is the Niners might be afraid that if they cut him, he might sign with a team that's decent and win and make them look bad. I don't know. Do you think there's anything to that, or did I just wake up with a funny idea?
I don't think there's anything to that. And let me tell you some reasons. I mean, it's a really good question, and I'm glad you included it in our roster of questions. I'll tell you, first of all, if they trade him to another team, he's not going to make them look bad. He's not good. He's not good enough to make them look bad for trading him. In fact, the best he can look is as a quarterback for Kyle Shanahan.
Yes.
Kyle Shanahan is brilliant at emphasizing the few things that Jimmy does well, and is even more brilliant at camouflaging all the things he doesn't do well. So I don't think that's an issue. In addition, the money they would save or would have saved by getting rid of him already at the right time is quite an incentive. So for me, I'd have to say I'm still puzzled why they haven't gotten rid of him. If your hypothesis has weight, that they're afraid of looking bad, it would again underline for me that the front office there is insane, that their reasoning is insane. But since I don't think they're totally insane, only partially insane, I don't think that that's a relevant issue. What do you think?
Well, let's stick with it for a second. There's definitely a scenario where Trey Lance and the 49ers win 12, 13 games this year, and they're better than last year, and no one cares about Jimmy Garoppolo. But there's also a scenario where they have a losing record because they're not just going with a young, unproven quarterback. They're doing that at like 5 or 6 positions. And if they have a losing record and Niner fans are upset and somehow Jimmy Garoppolo is on some team and wins like he has with the 49ers, I know it's unlikely. Boy, people on the 49ers look really bad, especially since they just cut him. I don't know. I just can't understand why they still have him on the team. And I think the best reason is insanity, the insanity clause.
The insanity clause.
Insanity clause. So if they really, it's like, I was talking to Josh Duba about this. We love Josh. And I was saying, like, it's like, do you think there's a possibility that like the Seahawks would want him? He was like, man, if the Niners send him to the Seahawks, it's like the Niners would have to ask Seattle, like the only stipulation of the trade is you have to play Jimmy Garoppolo when you play the 49ers. Like, you have to play him. I don't think the Niners are scared of Jimmy Garoppolo, or at least their defense isn't.
No, the defense does very well against him, doesn't it?
The defense tends to do very well against. I think Fred Warner knows his tendencies. I think we all know his tendencies at this point.
Yeah.
So it was a theory.
We have a good bet riding on this, and I'm saying he's not on the roster for the first regular season game of the season. And you're saying he is.
Yes, because of the insanity clause.
Because of the insanity clause. And, that's the wild card. I mean,
yes,
you could be right about that insanity clause.
Yeah, I mean, are they insane? They sort of drink their own Kool-Aid a lot. There's no one telling them, like, what you're doing doesn't make any sense. Everyone's like, this is smart. This is smart, right? Let's just hold on to Jimmy. So I think they think that they're doing the right thing. And that even though the whole league seems not interested in nonplussed with Jimmy Garoppolo, they know the true value, and they're going to wait and be proven right. That's sort of their attitude about the whole thing. So I think I'm going to win this bottle of wine because of that attitude. Come on, John, please do the wrong thing for me.
Oh, you think you're going to win the bottle of wine?
I think I'm going to win it.
We'll drink it on the roster for game 1.
Yes.
Iggy, I got to tell you something. I'm going to win that bottle of wine.
When do you think they'll get rid of him? I'm curious.
It could be at the very
end.
Doesn't
matter.
At very end of training camp. Somebody's going to get hurt somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. He will not be on the roster. Again, for our viewers, let me repeat. There are too many problems if he's on the roster. You have a divided locker room, and you want a locker room that's behind the kid. You don't want a locker room that's some with him and some without him. Okay? Plus, the kid is looking over his shoulder, and he's got enough problems.
I love how you're so politely describing utter chaos. They would have utter chaos. I think I root for utter chaos. Maybe I just want it.
Well, please. It would be, I got to say, if I were still functioning as a sports writer, utter chaos would be really interesting to write about.
Yeah. So maybe I'm just not betting on it, but hoping for it. So, John, I believe in you.
And here's the deal. Now that media is allowed back into the locker room, you could get some guys talking off the record about utter
Oh,
chaos.
absolutely.
And
that's where
they would want to.
can you imagine the PR directors like looking around trying to see like who's talking to who? Like, oh, he's talking to Grant. He's talking to Grant. Keep that in mind.
Yes. And then they come over it. Now I don't know this current bunch, but then some of them would come in the past would come over and say, "Oh, he has to go to a meeting," or I love the one, "Couple more." They used to say that, "Couple more." Like, dude, I haven't even asked my first question. Couple more. I used to want to vomit when that would happen.
Couple more. Yeah. To the new PR director's credit, Corey Young, he didn't do that. He's not a couple
Well,
more
God
kind of
love
guy.
you. God
He's
love
not a
you.
couple more kind of guy. Gammon Brown says, Papa Cohn, I emailed your son in attempts to get your autograph on my copy of my book. Will you have a book signing at any point in the future?
No, thank you so much.
Hold
I
on. What about a father-son Perry Feast meet and greet at some point? Real non-formal.
Here's the thing, guy. I'm not up to those things quite yet.
That's fair.
As you know, Iggy's mom died 3 months ago, and my wife died, and I stay in the house a lot. I'm not very social. I'm grieving, and I couldn't do that. But Iggy, doesn't your wife have a PO box?
Yeah, I'll email you back today as soon as the show is over, and you can send it to my PO box. I'll bring it to you,
Or we
and
could
you'll
mail
sign
it
it.
back.
Yeah, and you'll sign it. I'll
I'll
mail
be
it.
happy. I'd love to do it. I'm just not yet up to being social.
Fair.